Lily is in college now, 3 years later. She's in therapy, she's building healthy relationships, and she's learning to trust again. But she still checks locks twice and never posts her location on social media. As for me, I learned that family can be the most dangerous threat of all. The people who know you best also know exactly how to hurt you most. That birthday gift, those photos, those notes, that letter, was supposed to be a warning. Rebecca was announcing her intentions, confident that we wouldn't be able to stop her. But sometimes the most terrifying gifts are the ones that show you the truth about someone you thought you knew. The aftermath of Rebecca's arrest also revealed how deeply her obsession had affected other areas of our lives. We discovered that she'd contacted Lily's school, posing as a relative, trying to get information about Lily's academic performance and extracurricular activities. She'd even attempted to volunteer for school events, hoping to get closer to Lily. Our neighbors revealed that Rebecca had approached several of them over the months, asking casual questions about our family routines. She'd presented herself as a concerned sister who was worried about my parenting. Some neighbors had even given her information, thinking they were helping a family member reconnect. The web of deception was so extensive that it took months to uncover all the ways Rebecca had infiltrated our lives. But discovering the truth also helped us understand that we weren't paranoid. All those little things that had seemed off over the past year had been real warning signs. Most disturbing of all was learning that Rebecca had been documenting what she called evidence of my inadequate parenting. She had secretly recorded conversations, photographed our home when it was messy, and compiled a detailed file that she planned to use to convince Lily that I was unfit to be her mother. Her delusion ran so deep that she genuinely believed she was rescuing Lily from a bad situation. The psychological evaluation ordered by the court revealed that Rebecca suffered from what experts called pathological family obsession disorder. She had convinced herself that she was more capable of caring for Lily than I was, and that taking my daughter was not only justified but necessary for Lily's well-being. So, what do you think? Would you have recognized the warning signs earlier, or would you have trusted your family member like I did? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want to hear more stories about the shocking secrets hiding in plain sight, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. My sister sent a birthday gift to my daughter. She unwrapped it and went pale. "Mom, look at this," she whispered. When I saw what was inside, I realized my sister had been planning something terrible for months. My daughter Lily's 16th birthday was supposed to be a simple celebration, just family dinner, cake, and a few presents. Nothing elaborate, exactly how she wanted it. Lily had always been a quiet kid, preferring small gatherings to big parties, and after the year we'd had, quiet felt perfect. The package arrived that morning, delivered by regular mail with no return address. Just Lily's name written in neat handwriting across brown wrapping paper. I almost threw it away, thinking it was some kind of marketing gimmick, but Lily saw it first. "Mom, there's a package for me," she called from the front porch where she'd been checking the mail. "Probably something from Grandma," I said, not really paying attention. I was in the kitchen preparing her birthday dinner, trying to get everything ready before she got home from school later. But when I looked at the package more closely, something felt off. The handwriting looked familiar, but I couldn't place it. There was no return address, no postmark I could read clearly, just Lily's full name, written in what looked like careful, deliberate strokes. "Let's wait until tonight to open it," I suggested, "with the rest of your presents." Lily shrugged and set it on the dining room table with the other wrapped gifts. I forgot about it until after dinner, when we gathered around for the present opening ceremony. Lily opened her gifts from me first, a new laptop for college applications and some books she'd been wanting, then the gift from her father, my ex-husband, concert tickets to see her favorite band. She was smiling, happy, exactly what I wanted to see on her birthday. "One more," I said, pointing to the mysterious package. She picked it up and shook it gently. "It's heavy. What do you think it is?" "Only one way to find out." Lily carefully peeled away the brown paper, revealing a plain white box underneath. No logo, no store name, nothing to indicate where it had come from. She lifted the lid. That's when everything changed. The color drained from her face completely. Her hands started shaking. She stared into the box like she was looking at something from a nightmare. "Mom," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Look at this." I leaned over to see what had frightened her so badly, and my heart stopped. Inside the box, arranged carefully like a display, were photographs, dozens of them, all of Lily. But these weren't normal family photos or school pictures. These were surveillance photos, close-ups of Lily walking to school, sitting in our backyard, in her bedroom with the curtains partly open, getting out of my car in the driveway. Photos taken from hidden positions, with telephoto lenses, over what looked like months. Underneath the photos was a manila envelope. With trembling hands, I opened it. Inside were detailed notes about Lily's daily routine, what time she left for school, which route she took, where she sat at lunch, which teachers she had for each period. There were lists of her friends' names, their phone numbers, their addresses, information about her part-time job at the local bookstore, including her work schedule. But it wasn't just about Lily. There were notes about me too. My work schedule, my grocery shopping habits, the coffee shop I stopped at every morning, even details about my ex-husband's new apartment and his girlfriend. At the bottom of the envelope was a handwritten letter. "My dearest Lily," it began. "I've been watching you grow into such a beautiful young woman. You look so much like your mother did at your age. I know we haven't spent much time together lately, but that's going to change very soon. I've been preparing a special place for you, where we can be together properly. You belong with family, real family, people who understand you and love you the way you deserve. Your mother has had her time with you, but now it's my turn. Happy Sweet 16. Love, Aunt Rebecca." My sister Rebecca. My own sister had been stalking my daughter. I felt like I was going to be sick. Lily was still staring at the photos, tears streaming down her face. "Mom, how long has she been watching me?" "Some of these photos, they're from inside our house." I looked more carefully at the pictures, and she was right. Several showed Lily in our living room, in the kitchen, even in her bedroom. Someone had been inside our house, taking pictures without our knowledge. "We need to call the police," I said, reaching for my phone. But as I dialed, my mind was racing back through the past few months, looking for signs I should have noticed. Rebecca and I hadn't been close for years, not since our father died and left me the family house. She'd always been jealous, competitive, but I'd never imagined anything like this. Then I remembered the strange phone calls. For the past few months, I'd been getting hang-up calls at odd hours. When I checked caller ID, it always showed unknown number. I'd assumed it was telemarketers or wrong numbers. I remembered coming home to find small things moved around in the house. A window I was sure I'd closed would be open. My coffee mug would be in a different spot than where I'd left it. I'd chalked it up to stress, working too many hours, not paying attention. I remembered Lily mentioning that she felt like someone was watching her at school, but when I asked her about it, she said she was probably just being paranoid. None of it had been paranoia. It had all been Rebecca. The police arrived within 20 minutes. Officer Martinez and Detective Chen took our statements, carefully documented every photo and note, and asked detailed questions about my relationship with my sister. "When was the last time you spoke with Rebecca?" Detective Chen asked. "Maybe 6 months ago?" "She called asking if she could borrow money, and I said no. She got angry and hung up on me. That was the last conversation we had." "Has she ever shown inappropriate interest in your daughter before?" I thought about it. She was always intense about Lily. Even when Lily was little, Rebecca would make comments about how Lily should spend more time with her, how I was too protective, how Lily needed to experience life with someone more fun. But nothing that seemed threatening? Not until now. Officer Martinez was examining the photos with a magnifying glass. "Some of these were taken with professional equipment. This isn't someone using a phone camera. She's been planning this for a while." Detective Chen nodded. "The level of detail in these notes suggests months of surveillance. We need to assume she has detailed knowledge of your routines, your security measures, everything about your daily life." That night, after the police left, Lily and I sat in the living room with all the curtains closed, trying to process what we'd learned. "Mom, I'm scared," Lily said. "What if she tries to take me?" "She's not going to take you. We're going to make sure of that." But honestly, I was terrified too. How long had Rebecca been watching us? How had she gotten inside our house? What was this special place she'd mentioned in her letter? The next morning, Detective Chen called with more disturbing news. "We went to the address we had on file for your sister," she said. "The apartment has been empty for 3 months. The landlord said she moved out without notice and didn't leave a forwarding address." "So where is she living?" "We don't know, but we found something else. We ran her name through our database and discovered she's been arrested twice in the past year for stalking and harassment. Different victims, different cities. She has a pattern." My blood went cold. What happened to the other victims? One moved across the country to get away from her. The other was found dead in her apartment, officially ruled a suicide, but there were some suspicious circumstances. I felt like the floor was falling out from under me. My sister wasn't just obsessed with Lily, she was dangerous, potentially deadly. "We're issuing a BOLO alert for Rebecca," Detective Chen continued. "Be on the lookout, and we're recommending you and Lily stay somewhere else for a few days while we try to locate her." That afternoon, we packed bags and went to stay with my best friend Sarah across town, but even there, I didn't feel safe. Every car that drove by the house made me nervous. Every phone call made my heart race. 2 days later, Detective Chen called again. "We found her," she said. "She's been living in a storage unit about 10 miles from your house. When we searched it, we found a lot of disturbing things." "What kind of things?" "Pictures of Lily covering every wall, detailed plans about how to approach her, how to convince her to come willingly. And Sarah, she had blueprints of your house, detailed drawings showing every room, every window, every entrance. She knew your house better than you do." I felt sick. "How did she get blueprints of my house?" "We're still investigating that. But there's more. We found evidence that she'd been inside your house multiple times over the past few months. She'd made copies of your keys somehow. She'd been going through your things, taking pictures, learning your routines." The violation felt almost worse than the stalking itself. Knowing that Rebecca had been in our home, in our private spaces, touching our belongings while we slept, it made me feel like I might never feel safe anywhere again. "Is she in custody?" "Yes. She's been arrested and charged with stalking, breaking and entering, and harassment. Given her history and the evidence we found, she'll likely face serious jail time." But that wasn't the end of it. 3 days later, Sarah came home from work looking shaken. "There was a woman watching the house today," she said. "I saw her from my office window, sitting in a car across the street for hours. When I went outside to confront her, she drove away." "Did you get a license plate?" "Partial. I called the police." Detective Chen arrived an hour later with troubling news. The car was registered to someone named Margaret Thompson. We ran the name and discovered that Margaret Thompson has been dead for 5 years. Someone is using her identity. My heart sank. Rebecca has an accomplice? That's what we're thinking. We believe she may have been working with someone else, possibly someone who helped her gather information about your family. The investigation expanded. Detective Chen's team discovered that over the past year, Rebecca had been in contact with several people online who shared her obsession with my family. She'd been posting photos of Lily on social media, sharing details about our lives, building a community of people who were all invested in helping her get closer to my daughter. "It's called a stalking network," Detective Chen explained. "People who enable and support each other's obsessive behaviors. They share information, provide resources, sometimes even help with surveillance." The scope of the violation kept growing. It wasn't just my sister who had been watching us. It was a group of strangers who had become invested in our lives through Rebecca's obsession. "How many people are we talking about?" I asked. "We've identified at least 6 individuals who were actively participating in surveillance of your family, some local, some from other states. 6 people, 6 strangers who had been watching my daughter, learning her routines, planning. What? What had they all been planning? Over the next few weeks, the police arrested 3 more people connected to Rebecca's network. They found more photos, more detailed notes, more evidence of long-term surveillance, but the person using Margaret Thompson's identity was never found. During the investigation, we learned even more disturbing details about Rebecca's obsession. The storage unit where she'd been living was like a shrine to our family. She had not only covered the walls with photos of Lily, but she'd also created detailed family trees, timelines of our lives, and what appeared to be a calendar marking significant dates, birthdays, school events, my work schedule. Detective Chen showed me photos of the storage unit during one of our meetings. She had multiple laptops, all containing surveillance footage. We believe she'd installed hidden cameras around your neighborhood, possibly even on your property. Hidden cameras? Where? We found one attached to a tree in your backyard, another disguised as a sprinkler head near your front door. There may be more that we haven't located yet. The technical sophistication of Rebecca's surveillance operation was staggering. This wasn't just casual stalking, it was a comprehensive intelligence-gathering operation that had been going on for nearly a year. We also found evidence that she'd been intercepting your mail. Detective Chen continued. She had copies of your bank statements, medical records, even Lily's college application materials. Identity theft, mail fraud, voyeurism, the charges against Rebecca kept mounting. But what disturbed me most was learning about her long-term plans. In her storage unit, police found what they called a timeline for acquisition. It was a detailed plan for gradually inserting herself into Lily's life, starting with small, seemingly innocent encounters and building up to what she called voluntary relocation. She planned to approach Lily at her work, Detective Chen explained, present herself as a concerned aunt who wanted to reconnect. She'd researched Lily's interests, her favorite books, her college plans. She was going to pose as someone who could help with college applications and scholarships. The plan was methodical and patient. Rebecca had been prepared to spend months building trust with Lily before revealing her true intentions. What were her true intentions? I asked, though I wasn't sure I wanted to know. Based on the evidence we found, she wanted to convince Lily to live with her. She'd prepared what she called a family compound in a remote area about 2 hours from here. Complete isolation, no cell phone service, no internet. She wanted to create a situation where Lily would be completely dependent on her. The remote compound was perhaps the most disturbing discovery of all. Rebecca had purchased 20 acres of isolated land using a false identity, then spent months building what she called a perfect family home. The property had no neighbors for miles, no cell phone coverage, and only one access road that she could easily monitor and control. She'd furnished it specifically for Lily, Detective Chen told me during one of our final meetings. Lily's favorite colors, books she'd mentioned wanting to read, even a piano because she'd seen Lily playing at school events. Rebecca had been monitoring Lily's social media accounts, her school activities, even her conversations with friends. The level of surveillance was so complete that she knew Lily's preferences better than I did in some cases. We found evidence that she'd been planning this for over 2 years, Detective Chen continued. The land purchase, the construction, the surveillance equipment, this was a long-term operation. But the most chilling discovery was Rebecca's backup plan. If she couldn't convince Lily to come willingly, she had detailed plans for abduction. She'd mapped out Lily's daily routes, identified vulnerable locations where she could be taken with minimal risk of witnesses. She had chloroform, zip ties, and a van with tinted windows, Detective Chen explained. If the gentle approach didn't work, she was prepared to take Lily by force. The trial was a nightmare. Rebecca showed no remorse, insisting that she was trying to save Lily from me. She claimed I was a bad mother, that Lily deserved better, that she could provide a more loving home. Lily belongs with family, she said during her testimony, real family who understands her potential. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence of Rebecca's stalking network, her surveillance operation, and her plans for abduction. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours before finding her guilty on all counts. She was sentenced to 8 years in prison, with a restraining order that would remain in effect even after her release. But the damage was done. Lily had panic attacks for months. She couldn't sleep in her own room, couldn't walk anywhere alone, couldn't feel safe even in our own house. We moved across the country 6 months later. New city, new names, new lives. It was the only way either of us could begin to heal. The hardest part was realizing that someone I'd grown up with, someone I'd trusted with my child's life, had been planning to destroy us. Rebecca wasn't just obsessed, she was calculating, patient, and willing to hurt anyone who stood between her and what she wanted.